Oh man, what in the actual heck did I just watch, my boy? What was this, bro? What the heck? Oh man, I don't even know what to say here, bro. I'm like speechless on what actually happened, bro. Oh man. Well, I'm gonna wrap up that playoff preview series. I failed to be on time with the Knicks Pistons schedule because of the amount of playing games I watched. But mm, and here I was watching a really good New York Knicks Pistons game three, and I expected an epic game for, I guess, the most part. It was entertaining if you're a Thunder fan, just coming back on their asses. But Memphis, come on, man, like seriously, the Memphis Grizzlies were up by as much as 29. The crowd is rocking. Everybody is like, whoo, everything's feeling good in Memphis, boy. Like they were all cooking. They were hitting three after three. All gritties rolling around. It's a pray inside my cities type of crowd and vibe that was going on. And now they're one game away from being sent home fishing. And the saddest part is, it looks like they're going to be the only team that will get swept. Maybe besides the Magic, because I think they're not going to win Game 3. So they couldn't beat the Celtics without Jason Tatum. The problem is that even with that, they don't have Jalen Suggs, and they struggled mightily without Jalen Suggs. Depending on what happens in Game 3, I may make a series recap video on that as well. So, okay, back to the video. The Grizzlies were up by as much as 29, and I think in the midst of that gargantuan lead, Ja Morant tries to posterize Lou Dort, and he ended up falling on his front side. Now, I don't know if it was necessary. It was similar enough to the Jimmy play, but I think Jimmy's was a lot worse. But I think the difference is he has a pelvic contusion, and there was no major structural damage. I highly doubt there will be structural damage to Ja's right hip, because it is a right hip contusion. So I'm not a doctor. If you guys know better than me, if y'all in the medical field, just let me know what's worse: a pelvic injury, or a pelvic injury, or a hip fracture, or a pelvic contusion and a hip contusion. I know they're virtually the same thing, but I don't want to get too lost in the sauce. So Ja went out, but even with that, the Grizzlies still had a gargantuan enough lead. Luke Kennard hits a three at the half to put the Grizzlies up 77-51. Right? They led 40-69 with 40-69 with 3 minutes left in the half. And then, it started with a Chet Holmgren three ball, which he played. He kind of like had a Jason Tatum type of game, if you really think about it, or one of those games where he just went absolutely silent in the first half, and then he took over the game, which he had 1 point at the half, but Chet Holmgren hit his first three, and then Memphis started missing shots, and they were missing shots. The defensive intensity for OKC really started to turn up. And I think low key, I think that Scottie Pippen Jr. flagrant foul, I think it's what you could sense the momentum was starting to the momentum and the tides were starting to rise against them. Because when Scottie Pippen Jr. picked up that offensive foul, I think that's what really started shifting momentum. And obviously the turnovers and the missed shots, it really did not help Memphis at all in this game. Now, obviously, I don't think this game would have mattered. Even if the Grizzlies did win, and I guess I'm going to include some thoughts how I was going to do for my OKC Grizzlies playoff preview, but, I'll treat this as such. I don't think Memphis would have won the series either way, so I guess you could say to a level this game didn't matter, because even if they did win, the Grizzlies were still overmatched by Oklahoma City. Their guys just happened to catch fire in front of their home crowd. Okay, fine. And let's just say for the sake of discussion, Ja Morant was still there. And they would win with him on the floor. Okay, let's say I'll agree with that. I'll concede to you guys with that. Some of you guys are gonna say they would have won if Ja were still playing. Okay, I'll concede that to you, or I'll let y'all win that battle. You don't have a 28-point lead, and you had chances to win in spite of that. You don't lose a game like that, where you could have give OKC somewhat of a challenge, but it's just which they did for uh 3 quarters, but unfortunately it wasn't enough. It was not enough, man. It was not enough. So for all I know, bro, Memphis season is done. They're not going to come back and win the series. I didn't think they were going to win the series anyway, but I think after tonight, they're for sure going to lose the series. Because I don't see how you can blow a big, gargantuan lead like that and not have it in the back of your minds for game 4. And I don't know. I don't know where they go. I don't know how it gets better from them, because this was their best opportunity to make it a series. And now they're going to be heading fishing. They're gonna pack your bags, Memphis, and go somewhere on in Cancun. Enjoy your vacations, enjoy your time with your loved ones. But this was just a bad overall game for Memphis, and they should have won this game. Even if John Morant was still playing and he didn't bruise his hip, you don't go up 28 like that and play the way Memphis did and win in spite of that. Because they had the opportunity to win in spite of that before. And also, look, I get they don't have Tyus Jones, Dylan Brooks, Kyle Anderson, DeAnthony Melton. I understand they don't have those guys, but they still have players that have won games without Ja in the lineup. So, is Ja Morant's injury really an excuse? Well, I guess, yeah, technically, but they still had good enough production from their other guys to win in spite of that. But because of that, because they started getting rattled, you could tell, the ball was just getting hot. They was like holding the ball like a hot potato. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh my gosh, I don't want this ball. Get away from me. Oh, I don't want to shoot it, bro. Like, come on, dog. You could tell Memphis was starting to get rattled because they got cold, and OKC's defense was frustrating them and took them out of their groove. And this is why I can really credit Mark Daigneault too, because Mark Daigneault, I thought he made a really, really solid adjustment by giving Chet Holmgren the ball, getting Chet Holmgren involved in the offense. Because I want to see what Shai Gilgeous' final stat line was. Okay, 31 points. 31 points, which, okay, yes, Shai had a Shai Gilgeous type game. You know, he had his MVP game. But I think the difference in this game, they gave Chet Holmgren the ball. And I feel like there's a confusing how do you say it? I don't want to say controversy, a confusing debate on whether Chet is really the second option to J-Dub and SGA, or or him or J-Dub are the second options to SGA, or if he's really the third option, right? So Chet, they started giving him the ball, and they said, let him get involved in the offense, and he started cooking. Swish, 3 after 3 after 3 after 3. He was just shooting them things, crazy boy. Like Alex Caruso played major minutes in this game as well. Hartenstein played great, but I think when OKC went small, for some they had a lot of success. I'm not saying Hartenstein's a bad player, but once they went small too and rotated between Lou Dort, SGA, Chet, and J-Dub, sometimes they'll switch Chet, J-Dub, and or J-Dub with Hartenstein when Cruz was in the game. But wow, this was a great comeback for Memphis, and then Isaiah Joe with 10 extra points in 14 minutes. So Memphis, they're done. They are done. And what also changed is Memphis really started playing one on one. They weren't spreading the rock. They were taking tough contested shots. They were taking really bad shots early or way late in the shot clock, and you could credit some of the OKC defense. I don't know, bro. I really don't know what to say. I really don't know what to tell y'all, bro. I really don't know. Because it's just like you simply cannot go up like this, lose the game, and not have a response to it, bruh. So now, what the hell's going to happen, man? I don't know where to start when it comes to talking about what Memphis should do in the offseason because there's rumors that they may trade Ja Morant. And this series could be Ja's last games, Ja's last few games of his Memphis career before he gets moved somewhere. So I guess keep him and try to retool him with a better bench. Maybe get Jalen Wells needs to come back for sure. But I don't even know if that solves their issues. Because even with Jalen Wells and Clark in the lineup, they still had a lot of glaring holes. And obviously, them letting go of Stevie Adams and Dylan Brooks took away all their toughness, in my personal opinion. I know, and they probably should have kept Smart too because he's a vet in these situations. And the Grizzlies lacked veteran presence too. I think they had a good start getting Marcus Smart. And, with all those years he spent with the Boston Celtics being in a finals, you think they would. I understand he was hurt. And when he played, he really was inconsistent. And then Jalen Wells ultimately took his place. Marcus Smart was the veteran leader I thought the Memphis Grizzlies needed. And I wasn't mad that they flipped Brooks to virtually get Smart. But they shipped him away to DC. Now he's with his former rival Chris Middleton from the Bucks. That those playoff battles that Marcus and Middleton had with between the Bucks and Celtics. I think one in 2018, the other in 2019, and then another in 2022. Boston's 2-1 since then. 2-1 with Milwaukee. Why am I even talking? Wait, hold on. I'm not. Why am I talking about this? I'm talking about the goddamn Memphis Grizzlies that cannot hold a 29-point lead. And now Ja may be out for the rest of the playoffs. And this could, for all intents and purposes, guys, because of the lack of time they have for rest, this may as well have been Ja's final game as a Memphis Grizzly. I'm dead serious. I'm dead serious. I mean, if Ja somehow manages to stay and he's willing to give Memphis a chance, I would respect him then, but I would definitely be surprised. Because the fall of grace from this team has got to be steady, man. For 2 seasons, they were the number 2 seed. And obviously they lost to teams that were better than them. Maybe not in the regular season, but in the postseason. Right? So I don't know what the hell the Memphis Grizzlies are going to do this offseason. And I virtually don't really have an idea in my mind that could really make them better. Because they could have built on what was a growing young core. They just needed some vets, but they let a lot of those guys go that were their glue guys. Dylan Brooks, Kyle Anderson, Tyus Jones. Those are their glue guys. So unless they can somehow magically get all those guys back and get a couple other vets that could help them, grow up and hire them a coach like Mikey Malone, you know what I'm saying? But I don't know. There's nothing they could do. It's over. It's Joever. And besides Memphis Grizzlies, I don't want to say it. No, that'd be too harsh. Go screw yourselves, man. I'll be nice and just say go screw yourselves because I want to place the screw word with the F word. But I'm trying to curse a lot less. But damn it. Can't spell Memphis Grizzlies without the L. As far as OKC goes, this is why they are one of the best teams in the West. Because they don't get rattled. They have a deep bench. And even though I believe my Lakers and maybe the Clippers could take them out in the playoffs, and the Warriors included with a healthy Jimmy and Curry, there's even if they don't win it this year, this team is just only growing, and this team is getting hungrier and hungrier as the years go on, and we may see this team on the final stage for, and it'll be the Thunder's second or first final since 2012 when they had Russ, James Harden, Kevin Durant, and Serge Ibaka. So yeah, congrats to the OKC Thunder playing a magnificent game, playing a magnificent game in the second half. Just going back to what they've been this whole season, and I don't think they're going to stop anytime soon. They're going to go for the kill on Saturday. Memphis, get up out of here. You guys are done. Cooked, toasted, burnt to a crisp. Yeah, so that's enough rambling from me tonight, guys. I will see y'all with the next series recap video. That is the end of this video. I'm X. Deuces.